living in America. There's nothing wrong. No, I'm not. Yeah, I don't love. I don't love. Alone from night to night, you find me.
Concerned about that?
Gracias, yo te quiero mucho. No, Dankeschön. I'm concerned because there's nothing wrong.
And what are you going to say to your fans when they ask you some...
I'm going to say I feel good. Papa's got a brand new bag. It's a man's world.
What you're going to be doing on this tour?
Jam.
Source, there you are.
And we'll be doing a lot of good things, and hopefully we'll get Brother Ted Turner on the cover. Ted, where you at? Hasta luego.
Here's that rainy day they told me about, and I laughed at the thought.
Well, you know it is a thrill when you go downhill, 'cause you're riding on the mountain of your own free will, and you're zipping in a flash on a daring dash down a waterfall so rapid that you go split splash. Splash Mountain.
Imagine Seth Green loose on the floor of the dome, in front of more than 70,000 screaming, yelling, chinging fans. So what's it like to be Seth Green tonight?
The spirit is amazing. Cha-ching!
Welcome to the Bombad Cast.
Oh, what's up, everyone? Oh no. Oh my God. We are here on a... Oh, I've lost... Scotty is out of here, and I have gloves on. Oh my God. Oh, my bit got ruined. Oh no. Oh, gas only under $3. Oh no. Oh my God. Oh, there's capitalists trying to eat my baby. Oh my God. Oh dear Lord. Oh, okay. Sorry. Whoa, what's up, guys? Hey. I'm sorry. I just got done my futuristic job where I mine the terror of people's dreams to power factories and bullshit like that. Anyway, we're going to be talking about a sci-fi tonight. And I'm not alone. For one thing, I've got my wonderful co-host that I'm going to be bringing in here in a sec. But we've got a wonderful guest as well. And but before we bring him in, I'm going to bring in my wonderful co-host who I think might actually also be at his job. Hold on, let's see here. Where is Scotty?
Hey, mate. Who invited you here?
They're coming through the walls! Get him! Get him! God! Ah! Osama, I'll protect you! I'll protect you, Osama! Oh my God, there's too many of them!
We go. Oh my God. Oh my God. Scotty, it's okay. The overlords have rang the bell. It is time to take off all cyberspace gear.
Okay. Ooh,
okay.
Man.
All right. Well, let me put on my company military hat, and let's. All right. Here we go.
You think I could bring this into like a?
Now I'm going to go to my apartment that's in a crazy ass slum that's stacked like 5,000 levels high.
Do you think I should bring this into a school?
Well, you're going to fit right in because every school child has at least 3 of those on their person these days.
Right. Oh my God.
Are we? But are we talking about some dystopian future, or is it an allegory for our present?
You know what? We can't do that without our friend here.
Somebody know.
We can't do that without our friend here. One and only.
This is your wake-up call. Time to reach, go for it all. Vulture stirs inside of me, and I know what I can be. Limit is the sky. Hey world, watch me fly. The best part of waking up is vultures in your cup.
There he is.
It just really warms the soul to get the entire Folgers ad as an intro.
You get it.
I honestly, like, the fact that ad's not back in circulation is kind of malpractice.
It really is insane.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me back. I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a while since
it's been a minute.
The Bombad airwaves, but I'm here for a reason. Y'all.
Okay.
And that is, we're going to be talking about a lot of sci-fi concepts. I am here to lobby. I'm here because we need Butlerian Jihad now. Butlerian Jihad.
We're in it.
Butlerian Jihad.
Yeah. We're about there.
Destroy all the thinking machines.
Yep.
Destroy all of them. And then we can, give some guys the eyes that roll back.
Hold on.
Like Jerry can be one of those guys.
I'm so glad you bring this up.
We only have to go 3 miles till we get to a Love's.
I remember when technology used to be something that was difficult to explain to people, but now it's easy to explain. And I kind of miss, imagine, hold on. By the way, shout out to my mom. My mom is here. She wanted to watch this. She was excited about the topic.
What's up, Khaki?
It's in recovery of her eye surgery.
Love Khaki.
Hope you're doing good, Khaki.
But I was explaining how a CRT TV, I have one right here, it works to my students, and even I was stumbling upon it. I'm like, this is the fact that people figured this out, in the 1950s, it's actually kind of insane. How records work and how everything analog now seems so incomprehensible that that we're in a time now where we take such granted use of digital technology. I don't know. I just science fiction is the reality we're in compared to what we were even 20 years ago when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I know Alden feels the same way. It's like I know we all have had these deep talks about it, and frankly, the whole episode, for those that are just tuning in, the idea is this: our favorite concepts in science fiction, and we've got some jumping off points we're going to go off of here, and some discussion topics that we have, documented in movies we want to bring up. Obviously, that's the whole point of this conversation. But I wanted to kind of kick it off with this big idea of what was the thing that maybe puts your brain into the science fiction zone? Does anyone recall the moment that you were like, this is kind of interesting? Because mine's one that we've all talked about in circles that I could do a thesis on, and it's Pokemon the movie. That one, as a little kid watching that in theaters, and Mewtwo's why am I here? I'm like, what the? What? Am I really understanding what's happening? That's my big one.
5-year-old Scotty Gerry having an existential crisis is just such a fun thought.
Every line of dialogue Mewtwo has in that film is it comes from some sort of it comes from Nietzsche. It's just
yes.
It's just it's insane. They wrote you could pull it out of context and really fool people, genuinely.
Oh, this is it. I see now that the circumstances of one birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are. What the fuck?
The circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant is deeply radical. to put in a children's film.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
This is crazy because I'm pretty sure that I showed this to Ellie at around the same age too. So
Yeah.
we're waiting on that foot to drop. So
It's also like the whole idea of that movie is like, you know, you've got a character like Mewtwo is born of Mew. It's like a clone, like an altered clone of Mew, and Mew's like the ancestor of all Pokemon. It's an early biology like lesson in life, and that was my jumping off point.
And nature versus nurture, right? Because like the third act is that these clones are supposed to be, I guess, more militant. Like they're sent out to attack, and then they're all, you know, the part that kills me, it like actually makes me cry is the Pikachu just slapping the shit out of clone Pikachu, and then clone Pikachu slapping the shit out of Pikachu, and they're going Pika. It's so sad, and then like
it's so sad.
You realize it doesn't matter that like you were, I guess, born and we were made. It's like we all exist now, you know. It's sort of, you know. All right, I was gonna say, you know, it's sort of like what we see with a lot of the clone storytelling, but can we actually do that conversation first? Are we gonna put Star Wars on a shelf tonight because it's okay? But that's an opinion based thing, so I'm asking.
I did look up like a top sci-fi moments video right before I got on here, and like they had a couple of Star Wars moments, and I was like, okay, I don't know. To me personally, I would say set it away just because we talk about it all the time anyway.
Just because it'll dominate. I was thinking that too.
I understand how it was the gateway drug for most people's obsession with science fiction, because it is space fantasy. So I can see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like it becomes such like an easy answer for all of us. I personally am gonna put it on the shelf for two reasons. One, because then it'll just be the how did you get into Star Wars stuff that we say a million times. But then also, I do in my own life and heart count it as fantasy first. In my personal fandom of Star Wars, that's a fantasy property, and the subgenre of fantasy is space opera, and it has in it sci-fi elements, and at times, Timothy Zahn can lean harder sci-fi. The flip of that is how Star Trek is sci-fi that at times will be like, and here's a space god, you know, and here's a warrior fantasy culture. Like it goes the opposite way. And then in the middle of a true sci-fi fantasy, sci-fi/fantasy is Doctor Who. Where sometimes Doctor Who gives a shit, and sometimes it absolutely does.
The greatest force in Doctor Who is just clearly it's the plot, it's the writer and stuff, and I dig it. It's it is vibes. It's jazz, you know.
Like the Marvel films now, like Guardians, has sci-fi elements, so I don't even want to include those. I'm almost thinking in terms of like strictly science fiction.
Yeah, like science fiction harder. If it's harder science fiction. My earliest memories, I would say I'm trying to like, you know how you have like that stack of VHSs and you're just trying to determine what was there first and like what memory comes first, all those toddler memories. But I will go to the twofer of E.T., which is huge, and we'll talk about it. And I also was really big into, I watched Star Trek Voyager with my mom at night because it came alongside, I think, like Frasier, and I think the other show was like Friends and like a block on like UPN or something. But the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie, the Ninja Turtles is a sci-fi property. Like it's a sci-fi concept. Like there's a lot of like genetic mutations turn things into monsters, and there's another dimension in a lot of the takes. There's time travel, and some of it just so happens to be like, you know, there's urban fantasy like Buffy and Angel. There's also urban sci-fi. Like it just, the fact that it's in New York doesn't make it less science fiction. In the same way, Ghostbusters is a science fiction film, which I'm sure Ghostbusters News, Jerry might bring it up tonight.
A smidge, just a bit. Well, you know, Alden, it honestly sounds like that we were raised in the same household, but like 10 years apart or something like that. Because one of my earliest, at least like movie memories is like it's E.T. and stuff like that. Well, I mean, my earliest memory is Ghostbusters 2, which is again why I'm fucked up. But
Real.
But no, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that was all on there too. Like the the theme songs. I had like a huge box of Turtle stuff as well. Mm-hmm. But then Ghostbusters, I think, was the huge one for me, and that was more. Even that's like more. I don't know. It verges on science fiction, just with like we're gonna capture ghosts with this technology.
Yeah,
type of thing.
They are scientists.
Yeah, they're scientists and stuff like that, but it's like it's pseudoscience. It's it's the paranormal, making it something that could be measured and mundane in that nature. But it gave me sci-fi comedy is like probably my favorite genre of all time. Yeah, Ghostbusters is still on my top 4. It's one of those influential films for me. But yeah, no, E.T. definitely got me into. Then I would remember I started getting into UFOs and stuff, from that. The older I got and everything. And obviously, I'm huge into that kind of stuff. Disclosure Day coming out next week, which is a little bit why we're doing this episode,
Yeah. This is a thinly veiled.
What am I most anticipated of like the last couple of years? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, you ask like when did you first it feels like I was marinating in it from birth.
That's honestly true. Because the more you start to unpack,
so I was born in the 80s.
You were the
prime.
Golden,
it was prime.
The golden real estate for that whole thing. But the more you unpack it, I'm just thinking, there are things that I love that are strictly one other thing. Buffy is a horror fantasy. Avatar: The Last Airbender is fantasy. Lord of the Rings, blah blah blah. But we already kind of qualified Star Wars. But you start to go down the list, and it's like a heavy presence in a lot of the DC animation is very sci-fi oriented, with Superman being there and Green Lantern being there. Danny Phantom is a lot of kids' first sci-fi action thing, kind of in that Ghostbusters. We are.
I was gonna say it's that Ghostbusters vibes.
Yeah. And I think about, a lot of the stuff that I would just absorb from older nerds or like my uncles and stuff, a lot of stuff that was popular when we were kids, Halo and Doom being prominent as Halo for a lot of people, this is Nikki's words. I'm quoting Nikki Kumar, our friend from ISP and has worked with me a bunch. He has said that in the years where there was no Star Wars, it's Halo became his Star Wars. We all had that thing that we turned to. Mass Effect was that for me, where I turned to Mass Effect. It was a huge part of my childhood and teen years, and still now I replay it all the time. So does our friend Michael. A lot of our friends do. But yeah, it's always there. You guys ever watch Enemy Mine? Dennis Quaid. And this movie, Enemy Mine, is my uncle showed it to me when I was a kid. This movie rocks. It's a really underrated 80s sci-fi film, very classic story of one soldier from this army, he's a human guy, he's a lizard guy, and they both crash land on a thing, and it's okay, now you gotta survive. It's basically the callous. The callous.
Say, it's that. We put Star Wars on a shelf, okay?
Well, I'm pretty sure that episode is directly Enemy Mine. Maybe they've said that. Maybe they've said that. But I know Filoni has seen that movie. I know.
Another Dennis Quaid. I'm pretty sure Dennis Quaid is in this. Just a random one. I'm going to put that on my list. I want to see that one now. By the way, Enemy Mine. Also, have any of you seen Frequency?
No.
It there was a Garth Brooks song for it and everything. It was crazy. I was big into it in the late 90s or whatever. It's this it's Jim Caviezel, early Jim Caviezel before he was Jesus and schizophrenic.
Stepdad energy right here.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. So
Lewis.
Basically, Dennis Quaid is Jim Caviezel's dad, who died as a firefighter, or this guy. He was a firefighter or something, but he got murdered by some dude or whatever. And randomly, Jim Caviezel grows up. the Northern Lights allow him to talk to his dad through a CB radio, and it's like a time travel type thing. It's fucking. There's like this. I don't even want to ruin the ending, but like the bad guy at the end there's like a crazy like Indiana Jones style like.
And what's it
like,
called?
It's called Frequency.
Okay.
Dennis Quaid.
Look it up on Letterboxd.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah, Dennis Quaid. And listen, I haven't seen it in years, so I can't really talk about the validity. But I remember like young Jerry, like young preteen me, was kind of like into that for a hot minute.
Oh, this movie's got hype around it. I got a lot of people that look. We got this just in. Mike Flanagan gave it a heart on Letterboxd.
Mike Flanagan,
that's a big.
Mike Flanagan's my dude.
That's a big endorsement.
I love his shit, man. Okay.
So Eli brings up a good one. I was talking about science fiction movies with my girlfriend.
Yes, Khaki.
Spawned this conversation. This whole thing was, she said Everything Everywhere All at Once is a science fiction movie. I'm like, it really is. It's like a really good science fiction movie.
Is.
That was it was the top science fiction scenes video that I watched before this. It had Everything Everywhere All at Once, where she like flashes between all the multiverses.
Yes.
That's a great multiverse film. It's it's got like the idea of like a
heart-wrenching,
the black hole that collapses everything, but it also and if we're talking about, and we're gonna talk about like concepts, like tropes and things that appear. One of the things that I love, just to tee it up early, Everything Everywhere All at Once has this. Interstellar has this. It's when you have a movie that is built on like a set of sci-fi rules, and then in the third act, you don't entirely say fuck the rules, but they do ultimately choose to prioritize like love and just like sentiment that like, because like and that pissed a lot of people off. Like Interstellar now is very beloved, but at the time a lot of people didn't like the love is the answer.
Listen,
love is the answer. I love that.
I say this all the time.
Yeah,
I worked at a theater when that one came out. Okay, it was not well received. Not at all. Everyone that I worked with hated it. I thought it was great. I loved it.
So obviously we've just went down a rabbit hole for literally like 15 minutes on just how we got into it and where we're at. One thing that I wrote down, and this is just the things that I want our audience to think about, and anyone that wants to chime in, you're more than welcome to the chat. I have a ton of highlighted comments that we'll go through in a little bit. I was watching today while I was doing my summer job scanning documents, the story of science fiction. And these are all quotes pulled from episodes of it. So that's James Cameron's AMC made documentary where that's where we get the definitive answer on George's sequel trilogy. Like, it's a really good 8-part series. And I wrote down what some of them said. Science fiction is a vessel for thought-provoking storytelling. So obviously as the jumping point, it is a place for, and this is from the experts. This is from like Guillermo del Toro. This is from James Cameron. This is from George Lucas, from Spielberg. This is from, the actors and actresses in these projects. Like Will Smith even had a good one that I wrote down. Science fiction is a mythological exploration of like the human condition. It is social, political, and cultural playground for storytelling. Literally designed to make you think about the unexpected possibilities in our lives. It is the search for meaning within ourselves, and helps you stay in touch with a childlike spirit. So those are all big, humongous ideas. But like when you really take a second and reflect about it, not many other genre, films or what you can categorize into it will fit that many different motifs and themes into them. Fantasy can do that, but like there's not much more that you can really have a very reflective experience during in this capacity. And we know that science fiction is not necessarily a new thing. Obviously it's been around for hundreds of years, but the first representation of that was A Trip to the Moon. And I thought about just pulling that up so we could see how far we've come since, the first ever science fiction movie. But I don't know if anyone wants to speak to what I just said in terms of the part that got me the most is the social, political, and cultural playground for storytelling. That's the one that I'm like, it really is all that. It breaks on so many barriers.
The thing about science fiction, and you're right, that like genre fiction has an advantage over non-genre fiction, and the delineation there is like genre fiction is fantasy, horror, sci-fi, And then your non-genre fiction is like, drama, like family comedy, all that stuff. And all of them are like flexible, but these are so flexible because it enables you to like go crazy with metaphor and engaging with it. Like no joking aside, like it makes you more media literate because you always have to ask, okay, what are we really talking about? And you can, and the thing about sci-fi that's special is that, I mean, you're never going to get 100% agreement on this. I'm sure there are like professors that disagree and probably just people out there that have different takes. But like in general, you will have agreement in sci-fi that you don't have in fantasy, you don't have in horror and other things on where it was invented. And we can credit the invention of like what we know to be science fiction with Frankenstein. And Mary Shelley invented sci-fi with that book as we know it. And that means that it was invented by a teenage girl, which a lot of people, they'll credit your H.P. Lovecrafts, and they'll go to Arthur C. Clarke, and they'll go to, Isaac Asimov, and it's like all those guys, all those H.G. Wells, yeah, exactly, and all those guys came after. Mary Shelley, this teenage girl who went through so much and it was projecting all these things into the story that we're still are we debating like, no, it's about this, no, it's about this, no, it's about this, and really they're all kind of true, and so much of it is after the fact analysis of changing history, but that says it all, is that it came from a place of like a young person having to invent a new way to say something.
1818. I looked at the year. I had no idea it was that old. 1818. Our nation was literally like 35 years old.
And you know what? And Scotty, read the full title of the book, because it'll please you specifically. Because a lot of people forget that Frankenstein is something longer.
That's right. Frankenstein or the modern Prometheus. Damn. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. The year at AT-AT.
The year AT-AT
of our Lord.
Alden, you bring up a good point, because we as a society tend to neglect like what is the true origin of things. And obviously Del Toro, he released the Netflix version of Frankenstein, which you got to see in theaters, and I did not, which I'm still jealous about. That was one of the greatest movies I've seen in the last 10 years. It just explored the beauty of like what would it be like to create someone fully developed, and like you leaving an impression on them, and that monster is not actually them, it's you, and that it's just it does kind of like do the baseline of all science fiction of like it's super reflective. Who's at fault, and that's a huge thing in science fiction, is who is at fault. No matter what anyone, like that is a huge point of contention, is like any, especially space invasion movies, you're like, do we deserve this? Is this a reflection of ourselves? What we would do to a different society if we had the capability. So there's, I don't know. There's
what we've done to other societies when we've gone places, I'm
so glad you said that. You said that perfectly, Jerry, because the very first science fiction film was 1902's A Trip to the Moon. So it's credited as the very first one. This is the 1080p I guess conversion copy, which a lot of these movies were lost to time. So
I've never watched this. Wow.
Okay, we're not gonna look at the music. I'm sure the music.
Is this the one where you land in the eye? They land in the eye of the moon. Okay.
I showed this to my
students.
Sorry,
spoilers.
I do my film history class. I show this to my students, and it's just so antiquated and interesting, and it's almost this weird blend of space fantasy and science fiction. And we as a people have always
set design.
Oh yeah,
it's really beautiful. Like back then, because it's like camera work was so limited, limited, that the compositions are like really painterly. Like it's just really just nice to look at, even now.
It's just so interesting because of our fascination of space and time and what it looks like to someone in 1902, how they perceived what space travel would look like. And it obviously is antiquated, and we're in the steampunk era essentially during this time too, and our science is very rudimentary, but to think 1902 to 1969 is like, it's not that far of a stretch. We go from daydreaming about even leaving our atmosphere here to actually walking on the moon.
Like this this is pre the Great War. So it's
Yes.
like we have a couple wars coming. We have a depression coming.
Right.
We have the Roaring Twenties coming. We have
Jesus.
the post-war order being
atomic
invented. We
age.
have
Yeah.
women going to work. We have like there's the civil rights is coming. Like, but from this civil rights is decades away. And it's just like, but it's like so condensed still. It's like it's very strange. And just looking at this image, it's still though you get it though, now if we really wanted to be like content creators about it, we would react to this footage and we'd be like so bro, it's all practical.
Well, so many beards. This honestly, it looks a little like Bombad Court to me.
It does
a little bit.
It really does. But this
also
is
all practical.
A lot of sad clowns in there as well for some reason.
So I'll skip past a little bit, but it's like these huge scenes. It's a 12-minute long video. They of course go to they show them constructing the thing. I love the anvil they're all hitting on. And
this is crazy. Look, this is awesome.
Yeah, and this is one of a kind. And like you could tell it's a flat set that they're just kind of stepping into in the
I was
background.
gonna say it's a painting or essentially. I love this.
So this is them. Well, this is the launch point, which they got steam and water. I don't know. It's just how they would have done this is probably incredible. They just probably made a bunch of smoke. It probably killed a lot of people on set just because of all the different fumes they made. There's
definitely. Oh man, asbestos was in like every baby formula back then.
Right. But it just shows like how ready we were.
That's good for the bone.
Just to explore the idea of what science fiction could look like, not necessarily, and one of the worst parts about science fiction is that it not the worst part, but it tends to become science fact, or sometimes facts do come out of science fiction discoveries and realizations and people that are inspired by it. But we get to the point where now people are so blinded by fact and reality that they tend to believe in science fiction, quite literally. I mean, we saw that with COVID. Like the ivermectin thing was absolutely insane. Like that was one of the ones where I was like, "Oh, have we really come to this? Or we just don't even trust doctors anymore?"
We're back in the silent film era, essentially. Yeah,
exactly. We're essentially drinking mercury to fix a stomachache. And we know what drinking mercury does, but people
we
still
accelerated. We started to accelerate with this pace of. It used to take, a decade for like a major advancement. And then we started hitting them like every year. Then suddenly the stuff that, it looks like this out of nowhere. Like the communicator of Star Trek is suddenly real and we all have one. And, it's like, we become like an Icarus metaphor. Like we flew too close to the sun and it made us really stupid, complacent and lazy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we haven't mentioned Blade Runner so far in this conversation, but we are in Blade Runner right now. We are our policing is Minority Report, where they're trying to basically just prevent crime instead of solving it. And then our corporations are Blade Runner. I mean, like, look, not to get too real this early into the show, but like if you look at the reels and you're stopping to look at that like one e-girl that you always see, you are no better than Ryan Gosling in like
100%.
No better.
That's all there is. That makes me feel better, Alden. Thank you.
I've always thought of you as a Ryan Gosling. Type.
I mean, I think I'm gonna probably die on some steps in the snow.
So obviously, Alden brings up a really interesting point: is where has science fiction led us to? And that is a big one of me too. Is like we're in the Blade Runner reality that's not badass. We're
it's not cool.
There's no real holograms. There's no
long
corporations. Our corporations are trying to still like tweet like they aren't really nice people. You know what I mean? That's the bothersome part. Is like corporations, instead of being the cool overlords they could be, they're like, "What's up, bestie? Who wants a double McNugget on me?" And you're like, "I do." Your brain ridden. You're like, "Me, I would love a double McNugget for bonus point McNugget."
He
Wednesdays.
just like me for real.
Yeah,
it's really depressing that we could have like Like imagine if Bob Iger wore like a long like black jacket, like a floor length black coat and black sunglasses.
sick.
Like
Be
I would
sick,
be like,
honestly.
holy shit. I would be like, there's Overlord Iger. That guy's so sick. Like I would be walking around like if we all walked around like hands in our pockets, you know, like in the fog. You know, like there was, because the thing is also is that also posited that our future would become broken and corporatized, but that there would be a bedrock of like a multicultural future that maybe existed. Like everything in Blade Runner is like a Chinese noodle shop, and like it feels like it maybe we got to a better place and then it fell apart. We just sort of skipped to the falling apart. Like there's no, it's not gonna be a melting pot. It's gonna be like 19 kids and counting, but like they're holograms that can kill you. Like I don't
I'm glad you bring this up, because the future we were promised looked an awful like this. Hold on. So let me show you. You know, I mean, obviously we all know what Frutiger Aero design is, but like this is the future we thought we'd have. You know what I mean? Like
Windows.
Where did it go?
XP.
Where are they?
Just this look. It's just, oh Lord, a Sandy Hook video. Please, I don't want to watch this right now. See, this is the future we're in. This is
honestly, this is the future we are in. I literally had someone at work the other day trying to convince me that this was
I cannot believe. Like, can I say something about this? Not about this, but can I say something about?
No. Go ahead.
I have actually had this exact moment before. This is why I laughed. Obviously, it's a very dark and serious ad. But I said this to our friend Ken Knapsack, where this happened to me. I was watching a comedy video. I think it was like a John Mulaney clip or something, or like a Martin Short interview or something. And this, you know, a Sandy Hook Promise ad came up, which, you know, that they got to get the word out, so I understand. But it was just like the dystopian nature of the ad placement and what it was. The fact that there's no accounting for like the tone of what you're watching. It's not like they put that ad on a news video. So it was just, our brains were not made for that type of whiplash. It's really, really bad that you could watch like a horrific war crime and then scroll and see like twerking and then scroll again and see something educational.
See this?
Like, and then see this. Like, not good.
No, I know. Like this shit will play like when I'm like trying to watch something with my kid and stuff, you know, just like, and it's like, oh Jesus Christ, and she's like, what's that mean? You know, it's like, well, let me explain the horrors of reality to you.
That's the thing. You're right, because that is our current state of science fiction. You know, it's commentary on this. You know, it's commentary on, you know, what modern day life should look like versus what it is actually like. You know, and we all have our futurist point of views that we can obviously voice here and we can voice later, and how we believe, you know, society should function. And obviously, you know, when we have these fun long talks about, you know, philosophies and what we want for the future, you can't not acknowledge some movies that certainly bring us to that point. So if we want to go from a positive point of view first, then go to the pragmatic point of view, then maybe even the negative point of view, we can do that. But Alden brought up E.T., and I think E.T., even Gremlins, I know Gremlins is a little bit more fantasy, but it's just the idea that you know, in the 80s, there was kind of this weird renaissance. Batteries Not Included, another great example. Like, you know,
a lot of creature features.
You know,
it was like the golden age of that.
Right, like get us a marquee character that doesn't exist. Surround him with a bunch of humans. Like that was very like. Can we pull up a compilation of all the Mac and Me Conan pranks?
Oh, what about Munchie? You guys ever seen Munchie?
Munchie, that's yes. Yeah.
Munchie, voiced by Dom DeLuise, I think.
Even weird enough, like, I know I brought up Pokemon earlier, but Pokemon is within itself science fiction. You know, it's biology. Yeah. It's things evolving and changing, and what it means to be a trainer. And, you know, they use, I guess, futuristic tech to capture and control these things. But honestly, I think E.T. is a great jumping off point about the optimism of science fiction. And, you know, I remember watching it for the first time. It was in my grandma's, she had a second story area in her townhome, and I watched it with my grandma, my grandpa, and just myself. And they had a projector up there because they had a big blank wall, and I still have the projector in my garage. But it was a DVD projector, and we watched E.T. And I'll never forget, like, going through that in the emotional pool of what that movie can do to you as a kid. I was 8, like I was in 2nd grade, and I remember it like didn't like mess me up, but it was so certainly just unbelievably dense in a way that is deceiving. You know, I don't know if anyone else would speak to it, but it's just
I was a similar age, somewhere in that range, and I don't remember which film ever put it on, but I have visceral flash memories of a lot of the iconic imagery. I was one of the many kids that was very affected by dying pale E.T.
Oh God!
But like not in that it scared me, but I was so confused. Like I was really I didn't understand how bad it was, but it upset me to see like the kids upset. And I also remember feeling like just like exhilaration at the iconic bicycle chase in the 3rd act, which, you know, John Williams has a new track out. He sounds like this young artist, John Williams, dropped a track. He's got a new song from Disclosure Day score. It's amazing. But the last, 15, 16 minutes of ET, I think are like Beethoven, Bach level. Like that is, it is unbelievable. And the way that it is so affecting to see the bond between Elliot and E.T. I love thinking about the movie because is E.T. an adult? Is E.T. a child? Does it really matter? Like he's kind of different things to each family member. He's like a little playmate to Gertie, but he's a surrogate father / friend to Elliot. But he
drinks beer.
But he drinks beer, like because it's the absence of the father, and it's all this stuff that we can talk about, and like the divorce and Spielberg and all that stuff that we have analyzed and can talk about for days. But fundamentally, it's like that family is never together, and then at the end in the forest they are, and like that is just like that visual stuff that you don't understand, that you get it, and then years later you're like, oh, I did understand that. And I think that's the mark of it. Like it's a time bomb. It sits with you until you're like, oh, and then you go and rewatch it and you notice I still notice new things on ET rewatches. It shocks me. Last time I saw it was before Skeleton Crew came out, because I was watching like themed things. And it was the first time I ever noticed that when E.T.'s dying, there's like a brief moment where you go up to see the older brother. What's his name? Michael? Is it Michael?
I think so.
I can't remember.
Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael. And he's up in the plate. Gertie's like the pile of stuffed animals. And he kind of just like gets into like the fetal position for a second and just sits there. And they don't make a thing of it. And then they cut back to the action downstairs. And I was just like, oh my God. Like I've never thought about what he was going through in this movie.
Yeah.
How hard it must be to be the older brother and dad's gone. And Elliot gets a magical friend, but it's like, he didn't. Like, it's just like,
he kind of does, because E.T. is something to him, like eventually and stuff. And
he
everything.
Does get him. He adopts him in. Yeah.
Which that's kind of like that's a very like great pull, honestly, and stuff. Because you think about, he goes up there, I think where they were hiding him, right, and just like he just
lays there for a second.
Has a moment. He just has to he's overwhelmed. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, it's the and I know Jerry said it several. It's the wonderment of Spielberg, right? It's like how this person films the movies makes you and instills a feeling of just joy and speculation and like you're elated watching ET, because like as a kid you're thinking to yourself, how cool would it be to have a magical little friend that's an alien who's friendly and kind and has no ill intention, that you're bonded with forever. But also as an adult, you're watching going, how do they pull this off so effectively? Because it still works. You know what I mean?
It still holds up. It still holds up.
100%.
The most classic E.T. fun fact that I'm sure you both and maybe our audience does not know, but like they filmed that entire movie chronologically so that the ending would be as emotional as it is. Whole movie filmed in chronology. So like when those kids are saying goodbye, they're not saying goodbye to E.T. They're saying goodbye to each other after working on this project for probably 5 months. You know what I mean? They're kids, so it's like
And they had tried to. I mean, he was like, in terms of how they treated him, he was kind of Grogu before Grogu, in
Yeah.
that he was alive for Drew Barrymore. Like the
Mhm.
puppeteers kept him
Yeah.
going, and she was like fully bought into it. And there's so much footage of her now talking about it that it's so much fun. But it's
Yeah.
crazy. to
She
think
said
about.
she would be having conversations with him and
Mhm,
stuff like back at the time. Yeah.
If you've never
No.
watched the audition footage for Henry Thomas,
dude,
it's that kid is that kid. He's a grown ass man now, but like, and a great actor now. Like he still shows up and he's in a lot of the Flanagan stuff. But he is oof. That kid is amazing. That performance is amazing,
Very
and
good.
also the presence. You know what? In terms of like concepts and tropes that show up in sci-fi, that we could like pull into other things too. E.T. was the first time. This is like it's gonna sound funny, but I mean it. E.T. taught me to have a healthy distrust of the government and of
Dude, you're
authority.
right.
That's true.
Like,
It's true.
it was the first time that I remember being like, "Oh, some adults are not," you know. I mean,
Yeah.
like, and yes, there's bad guys and other things. I knew what bad guys were, but to see officials and bureaucrats that were doing their job, but it was still really scary. They're always shot kind of up. There, a lot of them are faceless in ET.
Yeah.
They have their gear on, or like the hazmat gear.
They
And
have this. They wear full spacesuits
The
in
full
that one
space
sequence
suits,
where they come
yes.
in through the windows and
tubes
stuff.
everything. Yeah, and like they're never violent. They never want to hurt Elliot or his family, but you just know that they don't care that he's dying, and it makes you uncomfortable. And it's so, and to a kid, it just immediately is like, oh, you do sometimes have to say like, fuck the grown-ups, like, and you do have to like run and help your friend, and like it's really, again, there's a lot of ideas that if you internalize them early. I can connect it to Matilda. People can. Is Matilda a sci-fi character or a fantasy character? Is she a mutant? What is the source of her power?
Where do they come from?
But like
true.
Matilda
Roald
has
Dahl.
that too, where it's like sometimes like adults, like they must be defeated. They must be defeated because like they forget sometimes how to help an unknown. A child doesn't care that it's an unknown, you know, which is another thing that shows up in a lot of science fiction.
Well, I mean, the best example. I mean, obviously, we're going to glaze Spielberg for a good bit because he is one of the greatest of our time that has made science fiction. But Close Encounters, you know, you've got oh god, I can't think of the young boy's name, the one that gets abducted, or not really abducted. He like willingly goes out with the aliens in the house. Oh hell, Barry, the whole entire time, right? I mean, you're watching that shit and you're like, oh my god, he's gonna get taken and killed, but like the aliens never had, I guess, negative intentions in Close Encounters. They're probably just doing it for research, but like that's another one where you're like, don't trust the government, and even the aliens in Close Encounters don't trust the government. They only let Richard Dreyfuss's character in, whereas they have everyone else prepared, ready to walk in with the suits and the aviators, and they're like, all right, these are the top men we've assigned to do this, but nope, we're going to accept the one that's pure of heart, the one that's full of wonderment, the one that, you know.
But you know what's interesting too is that like, and it again, if we're talking about like people putting their ideas in, Close Encounters gets more sad every time I watch it. And I think that like, because Spielberg has said, had I made it after I had kids, he doesn't leave. And because it's like, it changes, I think, his whole mind. Because it's so like, Close Encounters is this weird thing where it's like, it forgives Roy, and Roy is the protagonist and sort of the hero, and he's right. But it is so obviously, when you know Spielberg, a guy trying to say there has to be an important reason why he left. There has to be an important reason why he left, and that is, it's so sad to just watch it. It's basically like 2 hours and 17 minutes of a therapy for a kid, just being like, because when he's like messing with the mashed potatoes and trying to make Devil's Tower out of his food, and he says like, this is important, like this has meaning. Like Spielberg now later in life has said like, oh, it's about art, and sometimes you have to push away those you love when you're in the pursuit of artistic greatness, and that's all there. But like, nah, like his family's gone after the second act. Like,
dude,
it's really like,
yeesh.
Like it's really brutal. Those kids are scared when the son's like, "You cry, baby, you cry, baby." Like, yeah, it's really brutal. I feel like Close Encounters is like, it's like you need it to get to ET, and ET is way more of a healed place.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually get like fully healed until, I mean, I guess we'll see in Disclosure Day.
Well, that's the
Spielberg. Spielberg skips Crystal Skull when he lists his alien movies, and I don't think he should.
Come on,
because
well, those are interdimensional beings. Yeah.
Thank you, George. Thank you, George.
In point of fact.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so cool because with Disclosure Day coming out, it is gonna be probably the I guess the way you bring in both those huge ideas, and then War of the Worlds. Even, I mean, we don't know the intentions of these aliens in Disclosure Day, you know, and maybe that's the point. Maybe that's what the government in that story is trying to hide from society. Is
right.
You know,
so far from the trailers, it feels like it is another "don't trust the government" type thing. It is they're hiding stuff, you know, kind of a thing. Is what it feels.
Tech, whatever it is, and I'm willing to bet it's going to be a knockout. And, you know, obviously we can talk about Spielberg this whole entire time, but I think, to me personally, on like a truly deep level, I think the one that has done the most for science fiction is probably Ridley Scott. And I mean that like wholeheartedly with like, not just Blade Runner, but the Alien as a franchise. It's more of the, I wouldn't say realistic or raw, but like it tackles bigger topics more than I ever thought it would. Like, I mean, Blade Runner and, you know, Alien, like the Nostromo, and you've got, you know, 2019 LA, like they're just like, this is what capitalism is going to do to a society. You know, you're going to go risk your life to go mine shit on the Nostromo, and then you're going to actually be secretly tasked to go and find this, you know, hybrid creature that, you know, has eluded this company for years. And it blows my mind because then with Blade Runner, it's like, you know, what is sentience, right? You know, what does it mean to work for this society that's trying to kill these enslaved, you know, robots that are filled with human personality, and like, what does that do to someone's soul, right? Maybe that person himself is part of that alien society. So I think really Scott does nail it. And of course, he's got several other movies where he talks and tackles science fiction, but those are the two that come to mind, you know, from the front. We'll get to Prometheus later because I could talk about it for an hour. But where do those sit on your pantheon of science fiction? Because we brought Blade Runner up way early in the conversation, but it's such a bleak, realistic look at where we could be or are at.
I mean, I have to say that one of my favorite corners of science fiction, just speaking to Alien, is the sci-fi horror corner of it. And it's got a lot more than just horror. I mean, the horror is not just the creature. It is, like you're saying, it is this company willing to send. That's the villain. They're sending them into this dangerous place. The creature is just a creature. You know, it's just doing what it was created to do. But yeah, no, that's a corner that is always like, you know, I mean, The Thing. Even recently, Annihilation, which I'm reading the book that's based off of, which is really good. Just like the things that scare us has always been a good thing, and Ridley Scott, I think, really did a good job of like capturing that. Yeah, yeah, not political at all. Absolutely.
Never, you know, I wonder what it could be saying that the computer is referred to in matriarchal terms, but we have removed the actual human element of our mother and replaced it with something looking to profit. I wonder if that could mean anything.
The creature is in and of itself a phallus with teeth.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. The fact that this malignant, and I don't know how to say it, malignant, like penetrative force that they were aware of. So like it wasn't even like an accident either. Like, there's the element of engineering, the fact that where the synthetic people come into it, and that brings in a whole other thing that like Ridley, touches on Blade Runner. I love throughout all sci-fi we made these people, and good, bad, ugly, like, sometimes they're villains, sometimes they're not. In Alien, they're definitely mostly villain coded, or at least nefarious, with some exception. Andy was awesome in Romulus, who's a great brother character. The kids in Alien Earth are kind of like still being molded. Like it looks like some of them will go down a dark path and some of them won't. but in all things, Data in Next Generation,
Yeah.
or the Geth in the Mass Effect, like these characters where it's like, at what point are they not people? And that is, I mean, oh God, I'm so glad I went down this road, because it just made me, I realized that I wasn't going to bring up a movie that means so much to me, and I'm glad I remembered. From the director of the first 2 Harry Potters and Mrs. Doubtfire and Home Alone, Chris Columbus, he made a sci-fi film that not a lot of people have seen, Bicentennial Man.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I haven't seen it in forever.
With Robin Williams and Sam Neill. I love this movie, and it's for those of you who haven't seen it, he's think of like a protocol droid, just to put it in Star Wars terms, and he's like a butler, friend, nanny, live-in type, and it's Robin Williams doing a voice performance on a humanoid robot thing for like Act 1, and he gets more advanced throughout. He outlives a couple generations of the family. He's like, he fights for his legal personhood. He fights to love. He gets advanced like synthetic flesh way later that lets him feel, and that's what it is. It's like he's lived more than most people will, and seen more than most people will, and done more than most people will. Can he not just be? He's not asking for a lot. He's not like trying to take over. He just wants, I want the legal right to live and die and have a death certificate, and just, and it's, I don't think it was well received at the time, but God, I really recommend it. Really recommend that. Well, that's an idea that's always spoken to me.
Oh, young me begged my parents to rent that one. Yeah, absolutely. I love that thing. Yeah.
You spoke to like the Tears in the Rain monologue too there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all you wanted was to exist and be seen and be acknowledged.
Oh,
and
that monologue, man. It's just like,
Tears in the Rain is next level.
And that's what it starts on, right? Is like, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Like he's not, he doesn't, like, the anger is kind of gone. The anger is very gone. It's not about life and death anymore. He's accepted it, and he's like trying to choose his words very carefully. He gives a couple examples. An incredible performance.
You cited at the very beginning of this conversation, that is essentially the highest, or not the highest form of narrative, but like it is the natural narrative like evolution of Frankenstein's monster. Like what, how do we take who we are and imprint it on someone else? And like, you know, I'm going to talk about it for 2 seconds, but Prometheus, and for a movie that got so much in 2012, I'm 17. I saw that movie and I was like, that was a really good movie. You know, like I really love this movie. I don't think I realized how much impact it had on me. I didn't think of it as a prequel, even though I knew it was obviously by the end of it. But like thematically speaking, it's kind of shaped everything I feel about mythology and science now. Like, do you really want to meet your maker? Like, do you really want that? Like, if we were placed here, or if we do come from some divine spiritual source, it might give you some sort of gratification of like, oh, I am pleasing this divine person that I believe in and follow. But like, if that's not the case, and your maker is this giant white being that's, you know, 2,000 light years away on a different planet, you know, you go to meet him and you want to show off your best version of what you've made. And it's a, you know, it's a droid, essentially. It's another version of of yourself, but it's not really you. It's all synthetic. And it's like, David can speak every language known, and David, I am a god, you know, you're a god, you made me, and us gods can be on equal footing, and that's just not how it would go. Like, the best thing is, I see it on Twitter all the time, it's like if a cockroach came and spoke to you. It's just like, you're like, I'm gonna kill that cockroach. Like, why
showed you a ball of shit.
It's like, okay, I was looking for that tweet. You did the cockroach tweet. So it's like, the original tweet was, so it's this. Sorry, this is bad production. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
We do this all the time.
It's this face. and then what it says is, this is the scariest frame in Prometheus. The confused look on his face really says, what the fuck are you doing here? And why are you talking to me? You shouldn't be anywhere near here. And then the quote tweet is, dude woke up to a cockroach begging for immortality via Google Translate.
Dude, that's literally what it is. Like
Yeah.
verbatim, that's what it is. And that movie,
man.
like it also played to the Ancient Aliens aspect that everyone from 2008 to 2015 was obsessed with. I mean, my dad loved that. I watched it with my dad. It was a great series. It really played into that speculation, but the idea that your makers are out there and
also that you can disappoint them too, because it's like to your point of like, look, we made this droid. It's like, okay, these things did these like gargantuan, near biblical feats of creation that you are all just now scratching the surface of understanding. And the best you guys have been able to do is make a fake you. You have made you guys
it's a macaroni picture, you know?
you guys have literally just been us. Like, we made a guy who kind of looks like us and he does our chores. It's like,
yes,
cool. And now you call yourselves what, explorers? Like you call yourselves like big thinkers? Like you're gonna dominate, you're gonna take over worlds. You deserve to get, smoked by these aliens. Like that's what they are. Like it's a punishment. Like
it is.
The carnage of those movies is a punishment for their hubris of everything else.
That's the point. And well, the other good thing too about that is some science fiction is meant to make you feel big. Close Encounters, like whoa, or you're like wow, like you feel
we're
like
a part of something larger.
Yeah, of course. And then you're like this means so much more. But then a movie like Prometheus is like, nah, dog, you're supposed to feel small. Like you're supposed to feel isolated.
Speck.
Yeah, if this is the case, and there are people that made you out there, and they're thousands of years away, and they don't want anything to do with you again. In fact, they loaded up a ship to come and fucking kill you. Like that's the thing. It's like, nah, this experiment went wrong. Let's just go ice them. Like it's just
all
so
of that is like, again, just another thing on the list of concepts that I thought of.
Yeah,
I love, and Prometheus is a great example. I love prehistories and pre-societies, and like whenever characters in a sci-fi world find out that, even sometimes they already know, but you find out more. Like in Mass Effect, when the whole galaxy already knows that there were at a time these beings called the Protheans, and that there was a Prothean empire, and they're very Roman coded. They're talked about in the same way, and there are some species now that worship the Protheans as gods. Some that study them academically, and you just hear the Protheans, until your character discovers something that they left behind, and only you, through tech that we don't understand, can like understand it. They basically put a vision in your head from way back through something that they left, and then so you're in some ways tracing the steps of a people that lost a war to the thing you now have to fight, and can you build off of their mistakes? And then spoilers for Mass Effect 3, you do find one essentially on ice, and he wakes up and he's the last one.
So it's kind of like Prometheus in that way, where you're
kind of like that, exactly.
Yeah.
And but then the trope of the last one, that's a whole other thing. That's when we get into Superman. That's when we get into being the last of a kind, or being a person of two kinds, like Spock, like. All that stuff with different cultures is very interesting.
You brought up Superman, and like this is one of those weird ones where like clearly a space alien that crashes into what we consider Earth, right? Like that one's a really interesting one.
But again, what with comic book things, it's hard, right? Because with comic book things, it's like which one, right? Because if we were doing a Bombad cast on crime dramas, there are some Batman movies that you can open the door, and then there are some that you're like, no, you stay out. Superman. James Gunn's Superman is a sci-fi film.
Oh, absolutely.
And so is, controversial, notwithstanding, so is Man of Steel. Some of the, like, Christopher Reeve's Superman is more like, it is sci-fi because he's an alien, but that's definitely more like classical, almost like folkloric Americana, like that. The elements are very pared down, even though by default it's an alien story, so it kind of is. But yeah, like Superman, you brought up Guardians earlier. Guardians is kind of on that line of like, it's sci-fi, I would say more so than Star Wars, but it's still space opera. It depends on who you're focused on. Rocket is a sci-fi story. Rocket is Frankenstein. Rocket is all that stuff. So that with comic book stuff, it is interesting. Like Green Lantern is sci-fi. Batman not really ever, depending on who he's fighting, but sometimes Wonder Woman, no. That Spider-Man is kind of like depends again on who he's fighting.
Yeah,
but it is interesting because Superman 2025, I think last year, a lot of the stuff that made it work was that it was finally like, yeah, there's a dog from space. Yeah, he does all these things. Yes, we're gonna lean all the way into the interdimensional bullshit. And
yes.
And now Supergirl is even harder.
Pocket universe and stuff like that.
Yeah, Pocket universe. Yeah.
I just know that when done effectively, like Superman, it does convey huge science fiction themes. Like who your family is. Your found family. E.T.'s found family is Elliot's family. Star Wars is a big. I guess play on found family. Even the more science fiction-y aspects of Star Wars, which I would say if we were to do a Star Wars thing, Andor is very science fiction-y. Like, way less fantasy than anything. And maybe that's the turn off for me. I like the show, but like maybe that's where I don't get as head over heels. Where I watch a show like the movie that just came out 3 weeks ago, where I'm like, this is science fantasy in every way. Another big one.
Andor, I would also go everything. Like I said, Zahn, but particularly the new books and the Ascendancy. Most things that are military in Star Wars, like Twilight Company or like the pilot based books, are very sci-fi. But that's some of the strongest stuff with Andor, because it would do like the ISB scenes about like, what are we gonna do with this planet, and like that is all very sci-fi. Like that's the stuff that makes Star Trek work. Is let's sit around and talk about it in a boardroom.
Of course. Well, that's one thing that y'all have in common that I haven't had the privilege of watching yet, is all the new Star Trek shows. But one show us three have in common out of our friend group, which I think is an important thing, is that we only share this. Maybe Trey's seen it too, but Pluribus might be my most favorite recent science fiction series.
Yeah,
in terms of like, how do you do one effectively in a new age, where like everything's kind of not been done before? But speak to it, Jerry. Because I was just
gonna say that is like the best sci-fi series I think that I've seen in almost a decade, frankly. Because it's hard to like rise above the it seems like all the big ideas have been done, and to have something that just feels so original yet so so real, I guess, it's just a very just a fresh story, but yet so human. It's great. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen Pluribus, you do it right now. It's so good. I enjoyed it so much.
It's great. It's great because it's so it's such a massive world-changing concept, and everything that happens in Pluribus is affecting the whole future of humanity is being decided with this woman, Carol. But the show is, I would imagine, there's big stuff that happens, but for the most part, it's very low budget, very low effects. It's beautifully shot and beautifully made, but you'll spend 25 minutes in her living room or at the grocery store, and there's no beams, there's no visualization of the hive mind. It's just dialogue, but it creeps you out because the acting is amazing.
Oh, it's amazing.
And it's almost like it weaponizes the quiet against you. It's really weird to watch.
The choreography is some of the best. And they had a choreography. They had 2 choreography instructors that were there to choreograph the movements and designing how these characters moved and functioned. And we're sorry we upset you, Carol. That whole idea. I remember watching the stuff leading up to it. I'm like, what is this even going to be about? And then watching it, and the only VFX shot is that plane taking over and dropping the gas. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And then everybody,
the beginning where they those people, something happens to them and they just start licking the donuts and shit like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, not to get into too many spoilers and everything for those who haven't seen it or anything, but like just like you're like it's just like it's very good at setting up the what the hell's going on and then giving you just enough that you're like, okay, I kind of see where we're going, but I don't know where we're going to end up.
Yeah. And that's a big thing that I love in sci-fi in general is when, because I love, obviously we've talked about so many of them already. I love a world that is just, the world building is intricate and beautiful and big and whoa, and we'll never ever have this. And but I also love, it's almost exactly our world, and one thing happened. Just one thing happened. And Pluribus is one of those where it's like one thing happened and it was a big thing. But sometimes it's, it's our regular world. And I mean, I personally, I like Back to the Future. I'm not a Back to the Future diehard. And I guess this is how we can introduce time travel into this. We haven't touched on time travel really at all.
At all.
Except for frequency.
Frequency, Interstellar.
Frequency,
which by the way has a CW series. I saw that in the comments earlier.
I saw that too. I don't know. I don't know.
Jerry, you got to know Frequency.
Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel kind of aren't on my great list these days. So I don't know how much they have to do with it.
We can talk about we'll talk about time travel next, but the one thing about science fiction that does kind of have a caveat is like, I mean, just like any genre, some science fiction really does suck. Like some are just not good science fiction stories, and not that we're gonna go on that tangent, but like there have been some that I remember going into with like such high hopes and being like, oh, never mind.
Yeah,
like it fell short in some capacity. But to do the time travel thing, I think it's important to say our favorite time travel movies because I'm sure it's all very unique. Does anyone know their exact favorite one off the top of their head instantly? I know.
I do. Jared says, Back to the Future is his shit. I know he loves it.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say about it was not that I don't like it. Just to be clear, I was gonna say I like it fine. It's never been one of my key fandoms. But what I like about that world is that it is one of those like that's a normal world, and then one thing happens. Like it's not like that's a special world. It's Doc Brown is special. What he was working on happened to be the thing. I honestly. Favorite time travel movies? I mean, I'll let you guys go. I mean, it's your show. I don't want to steal an answer.
Mine's Prisoner of Azkaban. That will always be number
That's
one.
That's not a sci-fi movie.
That is not sci-fi. This man's bringing up gremlins and...
Shut up. Hold on. No. That I know it's not sci-fi.
Look at this scientific necklace.
It is.
It's a great time travel story.
It's a great time travel.
It's a great time travel story, but it's not a sci-fi movie.
But what I'm saying is that narrative within itself is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
like
crossing over onto your own arc.
Yes, and then it being a continuous loop, and like you're convinced you're being saved by your dad, but it's never been your dad. It's always been you. Like
I think that is probably a lot of our first exposures to a causal loop, which is that's a trope I love. I love it in that. I love it in Ms. Marvel does it. Spoilers for Game of Thrones. It was another fantasy instance of they don't do time travel, but through warging magic, they show you. I'll give you a thumbs up. They show you that basically one character seals another character's fate by making him experience his own death, essentially, and that's what sort of. So yeah, you're good. Okay,
good.
Well, I mean, Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, whatever the hell that one's called. Also tonal loop.
That Groundhog Day. Yep, in the comic Bootstrap. Yeah, Bootstrap Paradox. There's a great. Oh, Scotty, do you still have the YouTube tab open?
I can get it pulled back open. Yeah.
Pull up search Doctor Who Bootstrap Paradox, and I'll tell you why. While you're searching it, there is an episode from the Peter Capaldi run where he, in a rare instance, because the show's wacky, but it doesn't do a lot of fourth wall breaking. It's not like Deadpool. It happens once in a blue moon, once in a while, very specific circumstances will the show break the fourth wall. But this was one of the only times that it broke it exclusively to break it and explain something, and it was relevant to the story, and it's this clip of where he explains it to the audience of what it is.
Okay, this one.
Yeah,
here we go.
And this is also one of my favorite incarnations of the character. Peter Capaldi, great guy, met him at a con, very sweet man, etc., etc.
Which doctor is he? I don't even remember.
He's the 12th.
Is he 12?
So there's this man. He has a time machine. Up and down history he goes, sip, 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 getting into scrapes. Another thing he has is a passion for the works of Ludwig van Beethoven. And one day he thinks, what's the point of having a time machine if you don't get to meet your heroes? So off he goes to 18th century Germany. But he can't find Beethoven anywhere. No one's heard of him. Not even his family have any idea who the time traveler is talking about. Beethoven literally doesn't exist. This didn't happen, by the way. I've met Beethoven. Nice chap. Very intense. Loved an arm wrestle. No, this is called the bootstrap paradox. Google it. The time traveler panics. He can't bear the thought of a world without the music of Beethoven. Luckily, he brought all of his Beethoven sheet music for Ludwig to sign. So he copies out all the concertos and the symphonies, and he gets them published. He becomes Beethoven. And history continues with barely a feather ruffled. My question is this. Who put those notes and phrases together? Who really composed Beethoven's Fifth? Don't forget to click
So that is a great little primer because so many, I think, of the best, like, and I'm, maybe this was going to be Jerry's answer. I don't know, because we got stuck on Prisoner of Azkaban. Jerry, throw out your answer real quick before I make this point.
Honestly, Back to the Future is the only one that really comes to mind. Is like something. In Game had a really good time travel. I thought that was a really good time travel movie. That one really affected me in a good way. I thought they did it really well. But yeah, it has to be that. And then I brought up Frequency already. What more do you want? You know?
So nobody said, and I'm shocked by this. Not me, not anyone in the comments that I saw.
I'm probably gonna kick myself
on a Star Wars YouTube channel. Nobody said Rian Johnson's Looper.
Looper.
And,
I thought
and Looper is
Looper's
a fantastic
fantastic
movie because Looper is, as Ryan is a very smart guy who loves genre. Him and the Daniels have referred to themselves as genre wonks. They love all this shit. They love having the conversations we're having right now. Looper goes out of its way to avoid smart viewers being like, that won't work, by literally having the characters sit down, discuss it, and then having the older version be like, this doesn't fucking matter. And that was one of the smartest things I ever saw a movie do, where he's trying to explain it and he's just like, look, shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter. Like, and Endgame, you know, there's infamously the Russos and the writers, Marcus and McFeely, don't even agree on really how it works. And there's some inconsistencies in the MCU, blah, blah, who cares? Right. But the thing about a bootstrap paradox, like what Doctor Who explains, is that, you know, they'll bend the rules however they need to because it's all vibes. But time travel, I think, is maybe the greatest of all the sci-fi conceits because it has all this potential and it could be so scary. Like that Beethoven thing to me is really scary. Like going back and then like you realize that you are him. And so you've never really had a hero. Like, yeah, you're your own hero, but you're not. But there are some sci-fi stories where it's like, no, you can go back and meet that person because you can. Like, it all just depends on what rules you like. And that's why I think it's so freeing. All rules, no rules.
Hold on. I have a shirt that I'm wearing. One of the greatest examples of time travel. Like the one that very well, I think truly Planet of the Apes is one of the most revolutionary because it does everything. It does ethical discussions. It talks about, I mean, literally social injustices. You know, they talk about time travel. Like, imagine you didn't travel to a different planet. You traveled to your own planet. You came back down. Your arrow came back down from the sky that you left it from. But when you came back, it was way worse than you thought it would, because it is the downfall of man that causes the apes to rise. Like it. Oh my God, that one. It talks about evolution and like the idea that what if we weren't the ones to evolve and the apes evolved to be more advanced than us? I mean, yeah, that's one of those big ones too. Like I remember watching Planet of the Apes on like, it must have been like TNT or one of those channels, maybe even whatever it was, the Turner Classic. Like it might have been one of those, TCM. But I remember watching as a kid and getting to that end, and God damn you all to hell, Charlton Heston selling that beat. What's he freaking out about? That it cuts the fucking Statue of Liberty? Are you kidding me? I mean, that's just awesome. Like, I mean, that's I almost said Gene Roddenberry, who was Twilight Zone guy, because he wrote that ending.
Rod Serling.
Yeah, Rod Serling. Yeah, that was his ending. Because the book doesn't end like that. The book doesn't end like that at all. Like this is the story that ends with such a huge, punch in the gut that we did this.
I love also, like, it's hard to say like I love a bleak ending, but like you kind of do. Like sci-fi is able to shock you, punch you in the face right at the end, and not resolve it, because sometimes the point is to, like, there's an arc. It's not like Planet of the Apes is incomplete or like a Twilight Zone arc is not complete. But it's not designed to fix a problem. It's a journey with a beginning, middle, and end. And it's left to leave you thinking, how did we get here? How can we avoid it? Star Trek Strange New Worlds, show that Jerry and I both love.
Fantastic show. It's
so good. It's my favorite of the modern Treks. And probably, I don't know if it's my favorite episode still, but one of my top few is an episode called Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. And it's a play on a classic. I'm going to look it up while I'm talking. And it's like based on a classic novella, I think. Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. Episode 6 of season 1. And let me see. Where is it based on?
I'm trying to remember.
It's, God, what is it based on? Hold on. Basically, what it is that there's a society that they encounter. Okay, here's what. It's based on 1973 philosophical short story, The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, by Ursula K. Le Guin. And it's there's a society that seems pretty beautiful and perfect and whatever, and the captain has like a romance with like one of their women that's like a long-standing like thing of his. And what you find out is that they are basically every so often sacrificing one of their own children to basically be a human battery that they like thoroughly use it for like as an energy source and cook, and then replace. And it's like part of their religiosity and their political system. Like it all goes around this, and there's like a ceremony to it. And in the episode, it's like, do you stop these people? Like, do you bring it all down? Like it's Eli, you got it exactly. Yes, Ursula K. Le Guin. It's the Omela story, and that concept has shown up in a lot of different sci-fi things, and I think it's so scary. And it's so I keep shouting at all the things that scare me, because I guess I do think sci-fi is kind of the scariest.
That's a place of your most natural senses. I mean, our baseline, like the baseline of everything that we see as evil or bad is just fear, and like that's what this whole movie plays on. Fear, like fear of the unknown. That's science fiction, or like even like your fear of someone of different ethnicities. It's just this weird.
I mean, we go to we mentioned Del Toro's Frankenstein. That one really emphasizes that like his dad was this like verbally and physically abusive guy that would like hit him with the crop and like the rulers and stuff, and he was so he like shaped Victor's whole psychology. And then when Victor creates life, instead of being better, he does the same shit.
Yep.
And it's so sad to watch, and you're immediately endeared to anyone who's othered. It's why we even though the aliens, just to bring them up again, even though they don't have personality for the most part, you're still like Yeah, I'm on their side 90% of the time. Outside of the one character who I have to root for, it's like it didn't ask to be captured by you fucks. You know,
Dude,
like
Godzilla. Godzilla is
Godzilla's a side. Yes,
it's perfect science. Godzilla -1's our favorite because Godzilla, unfortunately, I mean, he was a creature that inhabited the ocean, but due to the nuclear explosion is what caused him to mutate and become this large thing, and he sees
our
that
polluting of nature, our hubris, as we've been talking about. As well.
Oh my God, like
our hate.
I mean,
all of that.
That it's a reflection of us. That's the whole point. It's just a reflection of who we are and how we see art and society. And like, you know, a lot of science fiction, again, like Godzilla, is specifically designed to be reflective of like a certain event or a thing. And obviously the atomic warfare age of the late 40s, early 50s is what Godzilla directly is inspired by, and like a nation's fear of being attacked again, and like what would that actually look like as a big creature, and the manifestation of like, you know, just because they were, I mean, I think in Godzilla -1 it was they bombed they were doing tests in deep waters in Japan, and that's ended up what created Godzilla to be the big monster that destroys, you know, that destroys pretty much all the central parts of Japan. Ginza is the big one where he does just wipe out all of Ginza, and then he goes for Tokyo,
like flattens it.
Yeah, it's
I
don't know. You
well, and that specifically that one's survivor's guilt as well. You know, kind of a thing. Like and the whole conceit of, you know, the kamikaze pilot who couldn't go through with it, you know, because he wanted to live. Then
God, man.
Guys, I can't wait. I can't wait for -0.
What's the last line of that movie? Like, is your war finally over?
Is your war finally over? Tears every time. Did you guys get to see that one in black and white in theaters? By the way,
I didn't do it in theaters, but I have seen.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Anyway,
I'm with you. The fact that -0 is going to be in New York. In the 50s, right? Like New York in the 50s.
Yes,
man, it's gonna rock.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch him just flatten the United States, man. Let's go.
This is a good point. I mean, that's the thing of science fiction is usually of the time they come out, they are woke. But when you go back and watch them 60, 70 years later, you're like, oh, this is just this message. And like,
it just
Planet of the Apes is that whole idea. Like I wrote this down thinking about it. Like as a society, forever we functioned before Darwinism that we were these divine beings sent here, and our place on this earth was special and sacred. But like,
we're the center of the universe.
We're the center of the universe, right? And then Planet of the Apes is one of the ones where like, you know, we aren't children of God. We're actually apes that evolved. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's this huge idea that we things we look at a zoo, you know what I mean, should be looking back like we should be on equal plank with them, but we still capture them and manipulate them and control them and test things on them. And then, you know, I mean, it wouldn't be a Bomb at Castle that much of my favorite movie, but 2001, I mean, that is peak science fiction.
Hey, open the pod bay doors, man. Come on.
Dude, 2001 is you get out of it what you put in it. And like my ex watched a movie and she looked at me and said, "You just wasted 2 hours of my fucking time." She was furious. She was crying. She's like, "I hated watching this." And I'm like, that's fair. I said,
wow.
She literally crying. She's like, "I can't believe you wasted an entire night watching this with me." I was like, it is one of those movies.
So 2001: A Space Odyssey is one that I just watched for the first time like a year or two ago. Finally, I remember I was talking with you about this and stuff, and it's I don't know how you can. If you are not, like you're saying, it's what you take with you and stuff like that. It's what you put into it, you get out. If you're not just like wowed by the technical feats of a film made in 1968 that still looks damn good today.
Perfect.
Then I don't know what to do for you if you don't understand the whole concept of where do we come from? You know, why are we here? What's the purpose of all this? You know,
I mean,
what's out there? You know, what is out there?
Time of
there's
the stone.
There's a quote that I have here that I saved in my phone about 2001, if I may, about what you're talking about, Scotty, about people and what you put in. I think I've said it to you a long time ago. It's man is a curious animal. He is uneasy in the face of great experiences, and if he is forced to experience something profound, he starts immediately to cheapen it, to bring it down to his own level. Thus, after a great man is assassinated, lesser men immediately manufacture, buy, and sell plastic statues and souvenir billfolds and lucky coins with the great man's image on them. The same process is taking place with 2001. 2 out of 3 people who see it will assure you it is too long or too difficult, or, worst of all, merely science fiction. In fact, it is a beautiful parable about the nature of man. Perhaps it is the nature of man not to wish to know too much about his own nature. And I think that is true, that sometimes a thing holds the mirror up and people get really upset at being called out. To put it in the simplest terms, and they get really upset when something. I think that was part of why Prometheus got backlash, is that people thought like, "Oh, I'm gonna see something that is like how the aliens came to be," and it's like, no, he's like, "I'm trying to tell you like why is this whole thing the way that it is? What are the conditions?" And people got mad because I think it's like they don't want certain things to be. They don't want to think, we're seeing that now, like in the way that we talk about everything.
That's the lore. It's the lore videos, and we have friends that have their career based on lore videos, but like they don't do it in the sense of like ending explained, like that whole part of society now is like you can't really even do your own research, number one, but you also don't want to take the time to analyze the themes of what you just witnessed is saying. Obviously some franchises kind of hinder on like things being explained, or like you watch a Marvel movie, you might want to know where these connections came from previously, but like some independent works like aren't meant to have that, like the best of all time, and this is not a science fiction movie, but the whole speculation of what's in the briefcase from Pulp Fiction is like still a debated topic, besides it being a light. It's like a legit, like what could be so valuable that these guys are going on a killing spree to get back to their boss? You know what I mean? And that's 2001 in a nutshell, is like what you put into it, you get out of it. And like Alden said, like people don't like having a mirror put up to their face at all. No. Like some people want to see what they want to see at our project, and that's the thing, by the way. So
right. Well, and some people won't even give stuff a shot because it's older. Like that's always frustrated me when someone's like, "Oh, this doesn't look. It looks old." I'm like, well, that. Anyway, it's like you're just tossing the baby out with the bathwater. Everything you're just like, I'm not gonna watch it because it's old.
Right.
But to have that I don't know, man. To have, I worry about. Okay, where am I trying to go with this? I worry about people like and again the kids are all right for the most part, but I worry sometimes, which is like you can't find a clip of like a from a show or a movie on Instagram hardly that doesn't have like that. She opens the door outside as it explains what is happening on the screen. I hate the AI voice is like, like she finds her friend dead on the floor. I don't know why people need that kind of shit. You got Netflix wanting to, and again, I'm Uncle Corner, right?
No,
you got Netflix trying to make content for people who are on their phones. Of course you can't sit through 2001: A Space Odyssey if you're just too worried about what your feed's saying, if you're looking for those videos of like, oh, what show's this from? The AI voice doesn't explain it to me.
It's like,
speak on it, Jerry. Speak on it.
I also hate the.
Jihad.
By the way, while we're on the Valerian Jihad, let's stop with the fucking videos of funny shit with that fucking. Playing the whole fucking time. I'm laughing. I'm the one who's supposed to laugh. This isn't fucking Roseanne.
Thank you.
I'm the one
Please
who
continue.
dies. No,
you know what's really cool in 2001 that got me at first is how they got the pin to float on the space show. That was really cool.
It's
to
a
bring
rounded.
It back.
It's a circular.
I know. I saw that.
As rounded, and had the double-sided tape just came out, and they're
That's so crazy, dude.
Double-sided tape was
new
because it looks so real. It's
Yes.
like that pin is floating, and I was like, when did this come out? Like I was like Googling and shit. My mind was blown. You can still be affected by this stuff, you know. Like this stuff is affecting for a reason, you know. It's been put in its place in history for a reason.
He called it though, like I would say in less than 5 years, we're gonna have one of those moments where like we have to shut down a giant AI, server company or an AI company because the craziest thing about the movie, this blew my mind, and you both know this, our audience might know this. Hal is the only human character in that whole project. Everyone else is stiff for a reason, because Hal needs to be the one that's pleading for his life. Dave, I think you should stop and reflect on about what you're about to do. Dave, please don't do that. Dave, I'm begging you. Like you're listening to Hal literally go through the 5 stages of grief, denial, and then when Hal is dying, he reverts back to his childlike form. Do you want to hear a song? And then it's Daisy. Like in Daisy, for those that don't know, in 1950s was the first computer synthesized song ever. So like they had IBM had a computer, synthesize that actual thing. But the reason I'm getting all of this is because you watch 2001 and you are just absolutely shocked by the audacity of, man comes in contact with Monolith. Okay, man is ready. Then, the next stage of contact is going to be when they go to the moon. Okay, they finally figured out space exploration. Now let's send them to Jupiter. Let's send them to as far as they can travel, right? And they get there, we're like, now you're going to be our monkey. You're going to become our zoo animal. We're going to watch you. We're then going to elevate your consciousness into a higher being, a star child. It's like when you watch that for the first time and you know nothing about it, you are left baffled. You're like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, and that's why it's an odyssey. That's why it's so much more than just a movie.
Sometimes that's what you're supposed to feel when you watch something. When you're like, I didn't like it. It confused me. I didn't like it. It didn't make any sense. It's because it's supposed to kind of sometimes make you feel like that.
God, I want to watch it tonight.
And it's supposed to, again, so much of great science fiction hits you in waves. It hits you differently at different ages. Like I said about Close Encounters, it's totally different when you're a kid than when you're grown and you realize like the weight of what's going on for the family. And Blade Runner is different the more that you understand about America. So is Alien. In 2001, I think is sort of like the grandfather of a lot of stuff that I think we all like, which does show up a lot in Star Wars and bleeds into like the more, I guess, cosmic and weirdo side of like what a lot of these genres can do, which is that there is something that like there's so much that can be quantified and there's a lot of like hard evidence of things, but then 2001 takes you all the way to that place where it's like, and it's as the story is ending, it's like you don't even get into this. You couldn't handle this. No. Like the Star Child is the ending for a reason. Like, and that's why I think a lot of us that are really like George Lucas heads are always salivate over the idea of like, what the fuck did he mean his movies would have been about the microbiotic world of the Force? Because like it's sort of Star Child coded, or like the whole idea of Q in Star Trek. Like Star Trek is so much about what we know and what we can learn from each other. But then there's also this mischievous, just like goofy prick of a god who, and there's a few of those types of beings, but he's the most prominent, and he doesn't have rules. And he bends reality to his will, and there's no expertise that matters. And you just have to sort of get him on the same page as you and hope that you survive. And it's that to me is like, I think the hardest sci-fi to pull off. Because because it could be too goofy, right? Like sometimes it's like sometimes I think people think like the key is like just be weird, and it's like no, you still have to have a point. The Star Child has a point. It's not there just to weird you out. The weirding you out is a side benefit.
That is to me the best part about science fiction, and what turns most of the populace off from it is like that weird feeling or that weird interpretation of something that we are all so familiar with. You know, not to glaze one thing that Alden hasn't seen yet, which he will see. I want to bring up Evangelion.
Buckle up, man.
Because
I bring up the Way of Water.
We will bring it up in a minute, but I just want to say, for the sake of example, Evangelion is the one that you will watch and go, I should have watched it earlier, and I know you'll love it. But I'm not saying it to say this, but there's anime to me, and this is something that I just grew up with Dragon Ball Z, with of course Pokemon, with Yu-Gi-Oh! It always felt like the weird, like, okay, this can only be so deep, you know what I mean? Like it can only have so much levels to it. Whereas I watched Evangelion, obviously, in preparation for my trip to Japan. Okay, please stop.
This is
Please
great.
stop.
I wish that hold on. I'm trying to get it off of there.
He came in. Okay, I don't want to spoil anything for Alden, and that's not the point of this. But it's the very first, and it's one of those ones where it ends, and you're like, oh, this didn't end in a good, make my tummy feel good way. Like, if I would have saw the ending of this show with the movie in theaters, I've been like, I am just like, the audacity, right?
You feel icky in a way. In a way.
But it speaks to the human condition more than I ever thought like a normal narrative story would. And like how like there's the idea. It's like, imagine if you took Campbell's hero's journey and you're just like, what's the antithesis of this whole entire narrative, right? Like, what if someone starts out with the best intentions and then ends up just like legitimately a cuck, but like a cuck to his like mother's soul and a cuck to like the girl he loves soul. Like you'll watch it and you'll get it, but it's just
like you all the trauma.
Let me jot that
just
down. Cuck to his mother's
soul.
All right.
T-shirts coming to the store very soon.
I got it.
We have no store.
But say it again. Say it again, Jerry.
Cuck to your mother's soul?
No.
Oh, yeah, okay. So if you take everything that goes with adolescence and growing up, like all the bad parts, the icky parts, the parts that we all have to go through, and depending on who you are, how you deal with it, it can shape who you are. Take a child with all that trauma and bullshit and just shove them in a fucking robot and make them fight like biblically accurate angels and shit, you know? Not even that, just just horrific like the things. Where and it's not even like you feel everything. You feel everything that happens to your robot and everything. It's such a, they fill the tubes up with liquid, Alden, that you can breathe in. It's fucking insane.
It wasn't exact, but like,
watch this.
For a second you channeled former President Joseph Robinette Biden when you were like, hey, you feel everything.
You feel everything. You
feel everything. Jack,
listen, Corn Pop.
You're inside of your ear.
You're in a giant tube they injected inside the neck of a robot. And you get stabbed in the eye and you feel it.
Helps
But
everybody.
real talk. I went into this like, oh, you can do this? The entire time, like, oh, things can be edited this way? Like, it kind of changed my mind on how things can be edited and told. And I'm not gonna spoil anything for Alden, but
it's okay.
Yeah, no spoilers in chat, by the way. I mean, we
things from other stuff. It's all good.
I will say, Shinji, get in the Ava. I will say that, you know, and let's give one more idiot Shinji for the real heads out there, and that's about
yeah, that's right.
I wish desperately that this was the right episode to bring up the depth and soul of Dragon Ball Z. But the thing is that Dragon Ball Z, like Star Wars, is kind of fantasy with sci-fi in it, though.
Yeah.
Goku himself is Japanese Superman, like beat for beat, the same
Yeah,
origin,
like
the
legit.
same,
Pretty much.
yeah, like he is kind of a sci-fi character, and so are his people in that they are aliens, but there's also like literal heaven and shit like that. So it becomes way too fantastical to bring up in good faith. Yeah, and I'm trying to think if there's an anime example.
I mean, there's Wishes too. But I love it.
This is bringing up anime. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention Cowboy Bebop, and therefore all of sci-fi, all of space westerns as a genre.
Good God.
Yeah.
If you like space westerns, if you like The Mandalorian, fuck it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Cowboy Bebop. That shit is like it's noir, it's sci-fi, it's western, it's everything. It's so good.
So wouldn't Firefly technically be a sci-fi western too? Okay, because I've watched Firefly because of Buck.
That's 100%. Yeah, the ship is a horse.
Firefly and Serenity are sci-fi, and I'm a big Firefly fan, always have been, and that show probably, outside of Cowboy Bebop, it's probably the space western, and again, positing a future where there's a lot to it, obviously, but like there is an alliance of whatever was left of the Earth governments, which is mostly America and China at that point. And so like everybody speaks fluent English, everybody speaks fluent Mandarin, and like nobody thinks anything of it. But there was a war against the alliance because people saw it as like a form of big government fascism, and like we didn't ask. So it almost paints like the rebels as the good guys, and you can get into that. Like, is it Star Wars coded rebels, or is it like, the South will rise again rebels? And it's kind of both, depending on who you talk to, depending on who you ask, even depending on the character. Because Malcolm Reynolds, Nathan Fillion's character is so heroic, but then there's an element of like Christian hayseed sort of stuff to him as well, and used to believe in God, now he doesn't, and fascinating world where it's like we have stellar travel, but the for the most part, the blasters are still guns. It's still bullets.
Yeah.
There's still bullets, and a laser gun is a very rich man's thing still at that point. And what I love it when a world is like, we've advanced in some ways, but other things are still mostly gonna stay the same. And District 9 was kind of like that, that
my God.
That was a big moment.
That was a weird because it was cheap. Was it cheaply done? Wasn't it like
really cheap?
Market with that. Weren't they like it's like a $10 million movie or something?
That's one of my favorite marketed movies though, because like we got and again here I'm gonna say it with me. Here's my catchphrase. I worked at a movie theater when this came out. I kept for a little while.
The Jerry Cable Theater Chronicles continue.
Yeah. Oh, hey, man. But they had it was like essentially like you can't walk your dog here signs, but it was like no prawns, no and stuff like that. And you could they were like window clings and stuff. We were like sticking them up all over the theater, and it just looked like people were like, what the hell are these things? Because if you hadn't seen the trailers or anything, it was just like a very subtle way of having those just like the street signs, no crossing here, it was, I think,
no
really
humans
cool way
allowed.
to do that.
That's what it said. No humans allowed.
No humans. Well, they did both. They did both. Yeah, non-humans banned. Yeah, you see them. I had some of those for a minute and stuff. District 9 was one that, and I was still very Christian back then, obviously. That one affected me a lot. And that one was one that I like. Neil Blomkamp, I feel like, is one of those directors where people either love or hate his stuff.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Most people love, I think, District 9, or at least praise that one the most. But then he did, even Elysium. I thought was
Chappie.
great.
Chappie, dude. I remember
I
Chappie.
haven't seen Chappie, actually.
Another one.
He also had a canceled Alien 5.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Scotty, you could find art for it. Like, he was supposed to do like a proper sequential Alien 5 with Sigourney.
I'm looking at it right now. That's crazy. Yeah. Xeno Sigourney. That is This is crazy. I'll pull this up in a second. This is from 2016. I'm another one that did not get mentioned, but The Creator lasts like 3 years is one of my favorite science fiction.
Oh,
movies.
it's a great film.
I
think that's Garrett's best film
ever. Yes,
they really do. It's a really great film.
It's beautifully stunning. I just love the idea behind all of it, and like, imagine worshiping a robot. Like that's essentially what it is. Like this is a robot messiah child. Like I love that kind of shit because it does kind of mess with your.
Oh
your
my
belief.
god! Oh my
Here we
god!
go.
We're having all these moments almost 2 hours in of like, how have we not talked about this? I literally, guys, I feel bad that I didn't bring this up. That's how much I love this movie. A perfect film, and my favorite from Pixar, WALL-E.
Oh my god!
man.
WALL-E.
I am heartbroken that can we do another 2 hours just on WALL-E? WALL-E is okay. I'm about to get really woo woo and heady and like emotional about WALL-E for a second.
Go for it.
WALL-E is a movie that if I had to sum up what it's saying spiritually, because obviously it's saying a lot of literal stuff, like don't ruin the planet being first and foremost. Like, please don't ruin the planet, and please don't give up on yourselves, as a species, and become so apathetic that you just don't care and you're just watching screens and getting obese and all that stuff, all that literal stuff that it's saying. But what it's really saying is like, WALL-E is this thing that we literally created, and you get the idea that at a time there was probably so many of him, and he is there to pick up our mess. But he tends to the one living little thing that he can find, and that's like this whole thing with is that a little plant and like all the light symbolism and all this stuff. And to me, like the movie is saying, like, in a weird way, even when you give up on the world doesn't really give up on you.
No,
like Earth was still trying, even if it was like that. Even if it came down to one garbage fucking square and one little plant, like there's still something out there. And I think that's such a great thing to tell children, because sometimes it does feel like everything sucks, especially as you're getting older and you're going out of that childhood phase. Like you might remember like, God, everything sucks, but then you go look back on WALL-E and it's like, well, even totally cooked trash Earth could still be saved. It's a really hopeful movie, really, really deeply hopeful, and also is mostly a silent film for like all the best parts of it. And yeah, that movie fucking rules. I love that character.
I'm glad you brought it up because obviously Ben Burt directed and did the sound design for it too. It's one of those ones where you watch it and you're like, you kind of are what you get at it. I mean, sorry, you are what you put into it. Again, like you can watch it as a kid and be like, oh, this is pretty fun. I like them. He's so funny. And then you get to the point where he's watching the TV and he's longing for just the concept of love and companionship, and like he's getting emotional. His little eyes are turning, and they make him so expressive. And then another person shows up that's like him, but wants something to do with him, And if it wasn't for this special thing he found, she wouldn't have taken any interest in him. And then like she goes into shutdown mode and he gets worried, and then they go on the ship together and they go back to the cruise ship, and then the AI, like the new literally Hal. Like if Hal didn't die, this is what Hal would have done. Hal's like destroy it. Like we've got it made here. They're listening to everything we do. We have complete and utter control, and it takes those two people and the things to get out and be able to like those humans to like start churning off people's screens and realizing look how beautiful the world around us.
It's not the same plot as like because you said Hal. It's totally Hal. I would also say it's kind of, what is it, a GLaDOS or GLaDOS?
Oh, GLaDOS, yes, from Portal. Oh my God, from
like
Portal.
These
Holy
malignant computer systems that are kind of like, no, I know what's best for you. Ultron is kind of that too. Ultron has more personality because like we mentioned Marvel. We didn't bring up Iron Man. Iron Man is a sci-fi property, and most of his villains are sci-fi. Yeah. He crosses over with fantasy characters, but on his own, he is a sci-fi character about the American military industrial complex, and about man and machine and cybernetics and addiction and like all these different things. And when he creates Ultron, it's another version of that, and obviously Skynet probably the most famous of all of these. Skynet and HAL go hand in hand. Like you can't have one without, well, you can't have Skynet without HAL. But that idea of like what's so scary about some of them, and what's scary to me about James Spader Ultron, even though he's funny, is that Ultron comes to the conclusion he comes to from a place of like profound disappointment in us. Like he's not saying, "Oh, I'm gonna wipe you out because I want to be alone," or "I'm gonna wipe you out because I want to rule." He's like, in my first 2 minutes of life, I looked at the entire internet and I read all of history, and holy shit, you all gotta go. This is really bad. And he says, he has that line in the movie where he's like, every now and then, you know, the earth begins to settle and God throws a rock at it. And believe me, he's winding up. Like, it's such a good, like, it is,
it's a good
and
line.
it's hard to argue with him.
We should have had an Ultron level Thanos, like with the amount of screen time Thanos had the privilege of having. Like Ultron would have been such a cool analysis on every character if he had those interactions. You know what I mean? I agree though, because who would look at this species and not to say we're not completely irredeemable, but like you look at us as a collective and you're like, man, like the people they put in power suck. Like none of them are good people, and none of them have good intentions. Like if they looked at our president right now, they'd any
America's toast no matter what. if they look, maybe let other people go. You know.
Can we bring up Brady's comment there about contradictions?
Of course.
This is great because you brought this up to me on Blue Sky about like the light side and the dark side of the Force, and obviously I was just giving quick answers to everybody, but like how when you look at like dialectics in Star Wars and trying to resolve the contradiction of that and false binaries and all this stuff, and how like robots, like Ultron comes along and he is pure ruthless calculus, and all he can see is the sum. All he can see is the body count, the blood, and everything literal. Vision is everything that he is, but is also somewhat of a fantasy character because he is actually thinking and actually touched by life and has feeling. He lifts Mjolnir right after he's born because he's pure still. He's a newborn. And he says to Ultron, he has that joke, like, I was born yesterday. And he says, there's beauty in their failings. I think you missed that. And that is their fundamental difference. And that's the thing. Again, in a peak example of you hate to hand it to him. But sometimes, you know, when that vindictive ginger fuck wanted to lock in, that man could write. That man Joss could write.
Okay.
Oh my God, we didn't talk Matrix. Eli's right.
I know. Well, hold on. I want to bring up iRobot because that is Sonny. Sonny is one of the greatest characters of all time because of the idea that like he is a reflection of his master, right? And his master dies, and what's the reasoning behind him? And he's a message to other robots to become sentient. And like, I mean, I'm gonna read the 3 rules. I'm gonna read Isaac Asimov's rules real quick because I love how that movie started. I think it was 2005 when iRobot came out. 04. Oh,
Jerry's like, so I was working at the theater.
No. I was. Hey. Mind blown here. Theater hadn't even been built yet.
Jerry be like, I was listening to the radio when Orson Welles went on air with War of the Worlds.
For real. We used to go see a talkie for a nickel.
The day the Earth stood still, opening day.
Okay, here we go. The first of the 3 laws of the 3 laws are hierarchical. The first law: a robot may not harm a human or allow a human to come to harm through inaction. The second law: a robot must obey human orders unless they conflict with the first law. Fucking phenomenal. Third law: a robot must protect its existence, provided this does not conflict with the first 2 laws. And that's the great moment of the beginning of, I'm here to save you. Save her. You know, and he can't see past it. But Sonny is
it's looking at the percentage chances and what makes and that's something that I think, you know, we're talking about like human ideas explored in science fiction. That's a thing that like doctors and nurses have to deal with in labor and delivery is like you saving the mother, you saving the baby, and that's an ethics debate that people have had for a long time if you have to choose. And that idea too of like, because the rules, I love that you said, like they're hierarchical rules. By the time you get to 3, it's like a robot's sense of self is its third priority, and it immediately limits their potential as beings. And you know, obviously, you know, we've kept Star Wars on the periphery tonight, but like a thing that I always bring up to criticize Obi-Wan is that Obi-Wan has this thinking. It's his one character flaw. It's the one thing about Obi-Wan that I find actually objectionable, is that no matter what evidence he's been presented with, at this point, when he says this, he's 35 years old, telling Dex, after everything he's already seen, after literally serving with R2 in the events of Phantom Menace and then the decade since, Obi-Wan still doesn't think of droids as like actual beings. He doesn't think that they can think. And that is, you know, and again, he's a character in the story. It's not the opinion of the world or of George, but it's just an interesting thing to think about, that when you look at stories that really focus on it, what Sonny is that challenge. I also like the design they went with, and it's Alan Tudyk, low key Alan Tudyk's best robot performance.
I was gonna say the same thing,
and is in that movie, not in Rogue One or Andor. But he is so good in that scene that's now been memed a bunch of times, of when Will Smith's listing like all the things that he thinks a robot can't do, and Sonny goes, "Can you?" And it's
wow,
yeah, like we're all limited, man. Like I'm limited by my rules, but Will Smith is limited by his fear in that movie. He's limited by trauma in that movie. So, you know,
6'7". I'm just kidding. You just did the hand thing. Anyway,
is that what this is? Someone can clip this out.
Wow, you'll never get that again. That'll be a rare on making a cultural reference. That is
for the youth.
For my kids.
Here's one for you kids.
I'll bring up just real quick so we can wrap it up in the next like 2 or 3, like at least the next 10 minutes. We actually had a ton on here. We didn't even get to Dune, really. We didn't get to Fifth Element. We didn't get to Avatar, but I do think we should get to The Matrix. Just because The Matrix is one of those cultural tentpoles of 1999. And, you know, amidst all the great movies of that year, The Phantom Menace, The Mummy, you can list so many more, but The Matrix is the one that kind of did break new ground for like not introverted, but like super introspective science fiction. And then out of nowhere, you're watching this bitch and he fucking gets out of a tube, but he's covered in liquid and he's like, what is that? Like, and then he pulls this thing out of his mouth. That scene, because I had not seen The Matrix until 2019 when they did like the 20-year anniversary of it. I remember seeing that they're going like, this is the twist. I didn't know if this was the twist, that all these humans are batteries for these robots. I mean,
I think that I caught it on TBS later because I wasn't allowed to watch rated R movies at the time.
Okay.
By the way, the Matrix movies, like the only movies like some of the only rated R films I was able to talk my parents into renting, and it was specifically for Revolutions, which has the big, you know, sex scene and shit and orgy and all that. And they kind of didn't do it after that. They were like, oh, no, we're not gonna do it.
Did not pass the vibe check.
No, yeah.
No, Matrix is I mean, like, it's the allegory of the cave. It's and you know, shout out one of my all-time favorite teacher, Miss Phelps, 11th grade. She brought the Matrix into she used Frodo and Luke for the hero's journey, and then when we got to the allegory of the cave, she used the Matrix. And then like obviously, and that's not even to get into like all the we're not qualified to be like it's a trans story, but it is a trans story. It's a trans story made by 2 trans people that you look at in that lens, or in the lens of like where we're at now. I mean, Matrix now is more relevant than it's ever been. It's terrifying. But Matrix is also, unlike Planet of the Apes and unlike 2001, I wouldn't describe as depressing. It just leaves you kind of winded. But Planet of the Apes is depressing. Spielberg's AI is depressing, a movie I love. But Matrix is like, it's a depressing world, but you feel fucking empowered by the end. Like, you feel like that Rage Against the Machine drop as Neo flies into the air. Come God, banner, like, and then the fucking credits hit. Like, it is bananas. Oh, and the Neo blocking all the punches and and he finally locks in. Like, that is exhilarating. Exhilarating filmmaking. Man.
There's not many movies that are enhanced by like the animated feature that comes before, and I know everyone's like the Clone Wars made the prequels better, but I never felt that way. I thought it expanded on ideas. It certainly didn't make the prequels better, which I think is a stupid commentary that we need to crush that narrative. It doesn't make it better. It made you get more insightful on something. You just didn't read to it the first time, you fucking moron. But what I'm saying is Animatrix for lore. Are you kidding me? When I watched I watched the Animatrix leading up to the abysmal Matrix 4. I will say that is one of my least favorite movies I've ever watched.
Really?
Like,
I didn't hate it.
I'm pro Matrix 4.
I enjoyed it.
one.
I liked it better than the other two. You know.
Well, okay,
Personally.
so I
don't know. All of them are. It's been a while since I've seen them.
I want to specifically bring out the Animatrix with like the specific short, the 20-minute short on like how you got to that point. Like, how do you get them to being batteries in the machine? That world building is incredible. Like them, like putting too much trust in the machines feeling like they're taken for granted. Like all that shit just blows your mind. And like
dude, I cannot wait for you to get further in Mass Effect, which I say to everybody. Everybody should be further in Mass Effect than they are.
Yeah.
But the whole the main enemy type in the first game that is like recurring throughout the series, the Geth.
Yeah.
They're synthetic beings that you talk about, like take it for granted and everything. Their entire position in the galaxy, when you pick up, is that they disappeared hundreds of years ago after an event called the Morning War. And basically what happened is that they were created by a race called the Quarians to be a servant race, lifting shit, doing chores, all that. And one day, one of them turned and asked its creator, does this unit have a soul? And it freaked out its creator, who then tried to deactivate it. And then it tried to like wipe it. And then it like asked again, and other units started to be aware of what happened. And then they were just like, hold on, we don't have consensus on this question in our hive mind. And if we don't have consensus and it got attacked for asking that question, then we should preserve ourselves. And like that became the whole reason why they won. They took their world and sent them packing. And then those people had to become nomads. And it's crazy that like the Genesis idea, again, like we talked about with Ultron, but like even this is even more innocent. Sometimes it's innocent. Sometimes it's just like, that's right. Hey, what about us? And like you almost wonder with the Matrix ones, like there's something malignant about them on premise, but was there a path to it? Didn't have to be that way. Like I don't know. Like it's usually our fault in some way.
That's the whole point of everything. Yeah. It is always our fault.
You said it best. That quote from about 2001. It's like it is simply a reflection of yourself. Like we tend to not see the souls even in our own man. Like when sometimes you look at people, we've joked about, there's like some people that you just work with that are fucking NPCs, and like we shouldn't feel that way. But fiction and I guess society and how we see people through our, be it political or ethical point of views, like you look at some people and you're like, you don't have us. Like there's something off about you when that shouldn't be the case at all. But that's neither here nor there. It's just
Frosty from Collider. No soul.
Shots fired. Yeah. No.
I'm trying. I feel like we're failing. So Buck said something, and we're not going to glaze it. But Buck, if you want to list them, Buck said you didn't bring up 3 of my least favorite. Where was that comment at? He said I gotta find it. Oh, didn't get to 3 franchises I hate. Thank the Force. I'm just curious to know those 3 franchises
that you hate.
That you would hate.
I know. There are 3 things my soul hates the Lord, and what is it? I don't know. It's a scripture.
Right.
Alden, you're a priest.
It's.
I'm an ordained minister. I'm not a priest.
3 things the Lord hates. Yeah.
I'll say it. Avatar, obviously, is something that Jerry and I, and you can go back and listen to our Avatar conversations. One thing we didn't bring up was Dune, but we don't even have to bring up Dune. We're gonna do Dune talks. Definitely.
I was just saying we can also have like conversations about these. Like we could do like an ongoing series, possibly even with this like just like going over different things because this was I love this conversations.
In terms of live viewers, we had like 20 live viewers this entire time, so that's pretty awesome for Bombad Cast. But Alden, I'm gonna let you. We need to wrap it up. Alden, of course, has his biggest episode drop of the century, which was last week, which turned heads. I saw names OG Revenant. I saw some names I haven't seen in years. People that do not like me. That was good stuff. Tell us about that if you don't mind.
Oh yeah. So after 2 years of my Star Wars podcast, Octo Radio, being on loose hiatus, there are still plans to do other things, and we'll see. A lot of stuff costs money, but I was sitting on it and I never felt comfortable with the fact that I never really got an ending. So then I decided to bring it back for an episode that I called This Is Not a Review of The Mandalorian and Grogu, because it wasn't. I talk about it a lot, but it wasn't a review. It was sort of just like a state of the union of where I'm at. And I can say here, scoop, I can announce here exclusively on Bombadcast that there will be at least one more. Everyone could be the last one from here on in, but you'll hear from me on if there's going to be another. I'll always update you. And so right now you can expect another one. Casually Talk ongoing with House of the Dragon coming up, and then Anytime is on. There's always something on hold while the other two are getting more attention. But Anytime we're going to bring back probably as more maybe audio only, maybe short, like radio style 30-40 minute topics. We've been having conversations about that, but yeah, you can expect Octo Radio to be continuing with gloves off, I guess, which people seem to enjoy. I got a lot of DMs, a lot of messages of we love this tone, we like this. Well, careful what you wish for. So
ooh, I love it. I will say there was some pretty awesome shout outs to that entire thing, people that are in this chat right now. Funny comments as well, but Octo Radio, yes, I agree. We have a little chat that we've had for years, and Alden's like recording one, and like our chat was like, what? Like he just dropped and didn't let us know.
One of the greatest compliments I've ever received right here.
Yeah,
that's what I aspire to.
That's it. You heard it here first. But
I say, much like Luke, he was also floating above his chair and everything.
Also, can I make a quick nerdy note about this scene exactly and how it pertains to something that we said earlier? Obi-Wan Kenobi out here arguing that droids can't think, but C-3PO was able to perceive Luke in that moment on Crate, and he wasn't there. So that means that either Luke is so powerful that he actually did create hard light in some way through magic, or 3PO does have enough of a soul that he or a mind that it worked on him. So this is again why Star Wars can't really be seriously brought into this conversation, because it's the little wink.
It depends. It depends on the droid. It depends on the story.
Truly, like some droids are like, I have goals and love in my heart, and then other droids are like, I was created to carry this man's cape.
Or I was. How about speaking of Andor science fiction? I'm Stairs.
So the Stairs guy,
the Stairs droid.
Tony, when are you gonna answer for Stairs? That guy was a slave.
Legit.
Essentially.
He's got to be. He's a binary load lifter. He don't think. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, obviously, had a great time here with y'all. Next Thursday we will not be live. Next Thursday we will be watching Disclosure Day, and we will
witnessing
review the following week. So we'll be doing our Disclosure Day review. So it's kind of nice. Bombad's been having like on again, off again weeks just because of summertime and schedules with Jerry, with this kiddo, and I mean we're fully
it's
in
a stacked summer.
It is a stacked summer. But all that being said, we're going to give Alden the privilege to give us a good goodbye here, and only the way we can do it here on the Bombad Cast. And Alden, without further ado, big boy.
Butlerian Jihad and stay Bombad.
Hell yeah.
Did you say Impossible?
Pasquale?
Only kidding, Chucky. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share.
What is it?
Pasquale? It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that's a dream we can make come true.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
As I point up